Look at this, only 156 and almost 1,000 between Facebook and thing on and YouTube. Come on, we can do better. I know you were all engrossed in the story, but in the experience of Sir Ruel and Yolanda. But come on now, let's put the lights up. Bring the lights up, okay? All right. So and remember that we are going to, at the end of the program, we're going to have some of you, coming in to share your view on what is happening in Barbados. Okay. Well, without any further ado, let us welcome Mr. Dwayne Grazette himself. The man is here.
Hi, good night, Barbados, and good night, Marcia.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's a pleasure being here, and thanks for the invitation. And at first, I was a little hesitant in coming because I know the persons I'm dealing with, and maybe as a result of me doing this, I may get some backlash and some consequences that I may have to suffer. But I am prepared for it, and if anybody knows me, I take whatever consequences for my actions. And it is my love for the industry that I'm seeing collapsing right before my eyes after promises that were made by this government before they got in office. Because I was also responsible in getting some of the said artists to go with the Prime Minister, and there was a lot of promises. There were a lot of things that were said that supposed to be done for the creatives that has not been done. And I'm seeing, and it hurts and it pains to see the industry not being facilitated like other industries. And my view is that the entertainment industry and the creative industry brings a lot of economic value to this country.
Yes. Dwayne, before you even start to go into all of this, because I know you love this industry. I met you in this industry as you are working with a lot of young people. People don't realize the kind of work that you do, Dwayne, using the arts with the help, with a lot of what we're seeing in the community, a lot of the young people not involved in the right things and so on. Your work, people don't realize that. I met you through Dance Fest, where you were helping a lot of young people. So can you just take 2 minutes? I know we want to rush into why you came here, but I want you to tell Barbados what you do in the industry.
I am a promoter. I do artist management consulting with artists, not only in Barbados but through the region as well. I'm also responsible, as you said before, with helping a lot of the dance people, and I do not put my name up there. I do not try to take the credit from a lot of the things that I've done, manage bands and stuff like that, because I don't do it for that. I do it because of my love for the industry, and I want to see this industry become a mecca and Barbados industry to the world.
Yes. And right. So you've done a lot of work with young people in this country.
Yes, and also in Trinidad, I'm more respected in Trinidad and more the Trinidadian artists than I'm respected here. I know a lot of Trinidadian artists who call me for advice on different things, you know, like they have songwriters and producers in Barbados, that from Trinidad, that's in Barbados, that I worked with before they were even popular here. When I had Jabe, and you know, Barry Chandler could contest to this.
Yes.
And a lot of the other guys can contest to this, because I wanted to link the two, because Barbados is on the back of Trinidad. Trinidad is the mecca for these things, and for soca music, the majority of the promoters are across the world are Trinidadians that do these festivals and these different entertainment activities across the world are Trinidadians. So we needed to link with them, build that linkage with them, so that Bajans can be acknowledged. And it has happened when we had the Bajan invasion, right? And the Bajan invasion, that is one of the things that made Cross France, Square One, and Matt Fingal, and all those artists,
yes,
you know, popular. And I was around at a young age in those eras, you know. So when it comes to this industry, right, I have a lot that I can offer. I have a lot that I can see, that I have seen throughout the years. You know, so you know, I'm not always right, because nobody's always right. But you know, I am, you know, I sometimes hit it on the ballpark.
But you have some knowledge, because you have been around, you have been working with artists in Barbados and outside of Barbados, and I know that as a fact. I know that. Now let me ask you. Let's now begin to look at the crop over this year. So we have this is our 50th year. So this is big, right?
Yes.
Was it big for you? Was it did it say 50 years? Well, at the end of it, it ended last night with 5.0. Did the entire thing, when you looked at the entire crop over 50, did it say 50 for you?
It was big, Marcia. A big disaster and a big failure. That is the only big. And the show last night, all the rest of the shows probably was like that, we would have said that it was a great crop over. And in my view, a lot of the private promoters and a lot of the private fetes, you know, save half of crop over. Basically,
okay, so let's pause there. So you're saying that the private fetes were better in your estimation than the ones that were managed and produced by the government.
Yes. And the only one that I saw that was of any good value was the one last night. And even that had some little hiccups in terms of the placement of the artist, the running order. Right? I know some people would have some quarrel about Marshall being on the show or headlining the show in collaboration with the Barbadian artist, but I have a different view on that, because if we want our festival to be internationally recognized, we have to include the players from across the region. And what we need to do is to get our artists to come on the same level of these people, so that they can be recognized and they can be seen. Because if we have Marshall, Destra, Fayan, Bungie, and them down here at this time, we can divert people from going to Caribana to come to Barbados.
I see what you're saying, but then we elevate our artists and we treat them in the same way, though, that we treat Marshall.
And because I saw something last night that I was very, very annoyed about, right? Because, okay, I promote fetes and events and whatever. And when I get to the events, I am backstage with the artists. I talking to them, I mingling with them, you know, and stuff like that. And they can tell you, right? I talking, making jokes with them, different things, right? I saw last night, the CEO of the NCF came backstage and just um, came backstage when Marshall arrived and went backstage to Marshall. And then when she was leaving, she talked to one or two, you know, but at the end of the day, you should be there with your Bajan artists, making them feel wanted, right? Making them feel, you know, and there's something that I have hated the NCF for over the years. Instead of having conversations with the artists, they talk them to the artists, and the artists are intimidated by this, you know, and they talk, you know, in their little circles, but they are afraid of being victimized, not getting a word, you know, these different kind of things. And that is something that hurts, because as working with the artists, doing artist management and stuff like that, right? I'm not picking up the phone and calling an artist and tell them, right? Because I worked with an artist this year with the Sweet Limes and with the Sucker Point 5-0. And they call you and tell you, I want you to perform, and this is why I'm paying you. Right? You cannot go to a carpenter, a mason, a mechanic, none of these people, and tell them you want your car fixed, and this is what you're paying them. They give you a price. Sometimes you will ask to negotiate, you know, you could take off a little something or whatever, but you don't ever go to these people, and you don't go in Carlton supermarket and tell them you're paying $3 for a tin of corned beef.
So
Right?
there's no room for negotiation. They probably feel that, you know what, it's you know, it's a privilege for you to be on the show with Marshall. So here is whatever they give you, you take.
They do it with some. Then they have some who are don't take, not so sometimes they prefer not to deal with their managers because, you know, this body can negotiate or this body can say no. And then another thing that peeves me about the National Culture Foundation, and not the National Culture Foundation, and now the National Culture Foundation under the leadership of the new CEO, right? Give the artists things, right? Invest in a song for the artists. That they call the artist to do something. The artists tell them $2,000, $3,000, right? And she speaks about what she did for the artists. It's not your money. It's the government of Barbados' money. She ain't take it out she purse, right? So you can tell the, I be record this for this body, and we do this for this body, and the next thing, nobody don't need to know that. I help a lot of artists, and I don't walk about the place and talk about it. Because if you're doing something from your heart, you're doing it from your heart.
Well, David Piggott here is agreeing with you, and as you said, the NCF on a whole, regardless of party, you know, that they really, he's saying that it needs to be fixed. Well, I saw an article in the newspaper from a former Minister of Culture, Stephen Lashley, who I happen, Dwayne, to believe that, you know, he was a very, very good Minister of Culture. And I'd never seen anything like this happen under his watch, to be honest. Really, I actually saw it as a producer myself. I would sit back and watch it improve. And it's not that everything was, he and I always shared a great relationship, but I saw him working towards, you know, lifting the crop over and taking it to another level. And one of the things that he spoke about in the article, he talked about the pick of the crop finals. And he said, you know, to see the pick of the crop finals, you know, something so important to the artist, and that we do every year. He was concerned, why did it have to start approximately 90 minutes late, is what I read in the paper.
I was there from what I was there, and at 8 o'clock or a little after 8, they had no electricity backstage for the artists to get ready.
So you're saying at the pick of the crop final, and it's supposed to start at what time?
8 o'clock for my
8 o'clock. And
recollection.
after 8, there was no electricity backstage for the
None.
artists.
I
Wow.
was there, and the tanks were dark. And I
Mm.
know some of the tank managers are saying that they ain't starting unless they get electricity and what's not. Right? Obviously, um from my investigations and stuff that I spoke to technical and stuff like that, and they were not sure where the venue. You see, this Crop Festival was it had poor planning,
Mm.
poor marketing, right? And yes, there was Cricket World Cup, right? But I find that they were more concentrating on Cricket World Cup. Crop comes every single year. World Cup comes every 4 years or whatever. And they were more concentrating, and it's also about PR, right? For this government. And not doing what is right. And Cricket World Cup, and for the 50th year of Crop could have been running along with the Cricket World Cup to encourage visitors to stay or to come back. You know, we were on the apparently supposed to be on the world stage. We should have been, you know, promoting the festival, getting things happen for the festival. You know, it was a lot of wait and see, right? And you know, I hear people talk about the venue for the pick of the crop. Um, the prime minister, from what I know, what I've gathered, is that the prime minister wants to use botanical gardens. No problem. It's in your constituency. You want to use botanical garden, fine, right? But you had 12 months. You try the amphitheater, right? They had some flaws in the amphitheater from last year. If you're serious about this thing, the same way you're serious, you know, you went and borrowed $50 million for the World Cup to part it to fix Kensington Oval, right? You do all these things, and this thing, we know Crop Over is coming. Why couldn't we? And we had 12 months. 12 months. Why couldn't we made the adjustments, put in the drainage, you know, do certain things? You know, people were complaining that, you know, the stage was too high last year. You had to be looking up, catch stiff neck, whatever. What we could have done is that you had a whole year of planning, of that you could have been planning, right? I could have been working on it for them, right? I am here to help.
Yes.
And I've said that. I've written the Prime Minister and the Minister numerous documents, numerous proposals, numerous suggestions, but they don't take me on,
Yeah. So
right?
so you're saying that from what you're telling me, I mean, you and I produce events, and we know if minutes to 8, there's no light backstage for the artist. There's no way that that show is going to start on time. Impossible for it to start on time. And it was start, as I said, based on the article that I read. 19 minutes late. Then there was in the middle of the performance, one of my big artists there, I love him, Kid Sight. According to the article, I don't know if you can confirm this, but the article says that Kid Sight had to stop in the middle of his set because there was a technical issue.
Yes, he had to
Can you
stop,
tell us?
and then he had to come back after the third person. Um, and you know, as I said before, from technical, right? They weren't sure if they were going Kensington. They ain't sure if they was going Botanical Gardens. From what I understand,
Mhm.
and from my investigations, the sound system went in the Thursday, right? So there was not adequate enough time to do your
Wow.
dress rehearsals. When they do productions like this, right? I have
Yes.
a technical rehearsal, a dress rehearsal the night before, run the entire show as if it was going to, as if it was happening there and then.
But isn't that
Even down to the,
standard?
even
Because
down to
remember
the,
that they used to give us the times that you would come. So you had technical, you know, it was like three, I think it was 2 days you had to turn up there.
from what I understand too as well, from what I understand, the CBC and them get the running order 5 o'clock the evening for sure, starting at 8, and they have to do the broadcast. They have to do, and they were getting the feed, whatever, to do the broadcast and stuff like that, right? So, you gotta get and you gotta get it right, and that's when you have persons, that and 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 I look, you know it is it is embarrassing. It is
Mm,
it is
mm,
embarrassing.
mhm. But then that happened, and then with this 5.0, the show was, my understanding is that no, it's like things just started to go downhill. It was, this was, no, was it Sunday night? Sunday night, it was supposed to be on Sunday night. Yes, we understand the rain, the weather was coming, but there are many people who had other events that were already making
Marcia,
arrangements.
Marcia, Marcia.
Yeah.
Um, I was in Miami, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was following um the crop over. I was getting numerous phone calls from people in the industry telling me, giving me ball by ball what's going on, even video calls and all kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when they had the when they had Barrel, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, not Foreign Affairs, the Minister of Home Affairs, they issued a statement saying that all the fets and events and stuff like that had to shut off by a certain time on the
Mm-hmm.
Sunday
Yes, it's
because
true.
there was the expected bad weather and whatever, right? You know, um, I was also reliably informed that on Sunday, the CEO was told to make a decision if the show would go on about 3 o'clock. If you are so concerned about the weather situation and the freak storm coming and whatever, the show should have been canceled at 3 o'clock. Don't make thousands of Bajans dress up in the clothes. And people forget what goes into, some girls gotta go and pay for makeup, they gotta get a taxi. People gotta do all kind of things which is expensive to then to come down to an event,
Mm.
and at the beginning of the event, then you cancel the event right there and then. Right? I understand it's out of abundance of caution and stuff like that. But you knew, you're watching the weather system from early in the day. You should have made, when we do shows, I work with Darcy boys, right?
Yeah.
And when we doing shows, Darcy just be watching the weather for the whole week. He taught me that we watch the weather for the whole week, so we know what we are doing. We have got to put in place. So you're trying to tell me that at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, you could not say, well, look, we say that we're going to have this bad weather, out of a caution, we're going to cancel the show. You have people, vendors, how the vendors that had chicken and the bite ice and the had hot dogs and hamburgers and different things that, that they can use over again. Companies that catering in the boxes and stuff like that, they would have taken a financial hit. I don't know if yesterday they would have recovered by
Mm.
making money that they could recover from the Sunday.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I hope that for their sake, right? But You know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist.
Yeah, it's a planning. It's you have
It's
to
planning.
plan ahead, because I had thought that the announcement would have come earlier, and then and then when we look at that, and then we then look at what happened with Kadooment. Now, I'm part of the Walk Holy band, and so we were keenly watching the weather as well, and also listening to hear what the NCF was going to say. They didn't say anything, which I thought was a little odd, but I said, there's nothing. They know more than what we know. And we left home like about probably 5:30 in the morning, because we're the first band. We have to go down. We have to, do so many things. Other band leaders and bands would have, I'm sure, done the same thing. While we are down there, not just our band, but you had Blue Box Cart and all the other bands were down there. Then is when we're being told that it is going to start 2 hours late. I mean,
But you know what is also funny, Marcia,
mhm.
is that these people are not truthful. They're not honest, right? And they find all kind of other reasons to blame things on, and they don't come honest with the people,
Ah,
right? And why Kaduma Day should start at 11 o'clock? They had to have things that were not in place. I
mhm,
could bet you my life.
mhm,
And you know why, right? You know why I'm saying this? Because the NCF over the years used to have something called a tendering process, right? It happened
mhm,
last year too, right? They had the tendering process, no contracts. Nobody that have toilets, chairs, tents in waiting for no NCF to decide in June or July, right? That they get in to supply toilets for crop over. And then I see the CEO and stuff like that in the paper a couple of weeks ago or about a week ago saying about manpower and all these different kind of things in a shortage. Ain't in a shortage. It is that they have a lot of events, and you know that as the NCF you planning crop over, right? You know well in advance from in January,
mhm.
February, you should be procuring these things. You should have been procuring these things early. You should know who doing the sound system for the pick of the crop. And in January, February, even I could go down to March, right? You should know who doing what. At this time, you should have the people sign contracts, they sending the tenders, they see who charging the thing, and you're putting these things in place from early. You can't wait to July, June and July to then now be scrambling. So obviously people done tech bookings and they're gonna be trying to help you out. And then these people will be then getting the licks. Like I hear Ian be getting tons of licks, right?
Mm.
And I don't believe it's their fault. They have been doing this thing for years, right? But Norman is not going to wait until July and then in the bookings and then he don't and then he except don't use it. What you can do? He can't pay staff and these different kind of things.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm. So that is part of the. So the whole thing has it has to do with the planning. Someone is saying here earlier up that the reason for the late start at Kadooment was because of the bad weather, and I think Dwayne is saying okay, there was bad weather, but when you're producing an event, Dwayne, what would be your answer to that? Let me let you answer.
We were waiting on the bad weather since the night in front. I hear the minister come out and say Popova is on because the bad weather can pass in the night and by the morning it can be gone. It was supposed to be from 10 to 12, then it went from 12 to some other time, right? So I you gotta tell me what it really is, right? But if you know that and you have the or you are afraid or you are concerned about that factor, you should have told the people so from the night time in front. You should have told them from the Sunday. the Sunday night. Crop over will start late because we are taking precaution about the weather situation, right? Not let people left at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning to go down to wherever the venue is for the jump up.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was my thing. I understand.
I see somebody said that the minister who's responsible for the destruction of the historical documents is also in charge of the national events. I want to touch on this, right? We have a minister that don't know nothing about culture. I never see she know we are the culture.
Well, hold a minute. Let's hold up here. You are calling her the minister. Let's be fair to her. She is the minister in the Ministry of Culture. The Minister of Culture is really the Prime Minister, isn't that so?
Yes.
So let's be fair to her. So she's a minister. So the Minister of Culture, because we've got to talk about that a bit. But the Minister of Culture is the Prime Minister, and Chantel Monroe Knight is the minister in the Ministry of Culture. But continue.
Mm-hmm. But again, you see, I don't want to say nothing much right now at this time.
Yes.
Because I gotta leave things for later.
Okay.
Right? No. But anybody that knows the Prime Minister, who's the Minister of Culture, knows her very well, knows how she operates. Right? So that is in a nutshell. Right? But at the end of the day, you still have the minister who in the minister's office, in the Prime Minister's office, who's responsible for culture, right? Is that they also have to go to the Prime Minister with feasible things. And because at the end of the day, the Prime Minister has a lot of other things, and they're not making any excuses for, right? But you still got to go to the Prime Minister with feasible things and things that gonna work. So she has to also take some of the blame. She's taking the PR. She's taking the PR. She's taking the PR. So she should take some of the licks too.
So let me ask you, before we go into suggestions on what to do, what we could have, because I know you made some suggestions to them as well. But let's look at Bridgetown Market. I saw something, you put out a picture of Bridgetown Market, and there are some people who, friends of mine, who were here, and they said they went to Bridgetown Market and they almost cried. They couldn't believe what it had become. And it's 50th year. They flew down and they thought it was going to be this big thing, and it was not. What are your thoughts about that? Because I saw you commented on Bridgetown Market.
Some vendors, I spoke to some vendors and stuff like that. People were calling the morning of Bridgetown Market, want to know if it in Bridgetown, if it down from Spring Garden Highway, and these are the persons who were playing trade down there, was not even sure where it was. It was not exciting. And for the 50th anniversary of Crop Over, we should be getting it right. Right? Because it seems to me, how it looked to me, is that they wanted to destroy Crop Over this year so they could start over next year to account for 50 more years. That's how it looked. Right? And it's sad. It is really, 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 really sad, because Bridgetown Market, on the Saturday and the Sunday down there, used to be burst.
Yeah.
When I saw the thing and I went down there, you could have drive your car on the highway, right? On one side and up and down, and you ain't gonna hit nobody.
Yeah. Dwayne, I went to we had some, we have some friends in Trinidad, and they're involved. They're Christians as well, and they're involved in Carnival in Trinidad. And we we stay close together because the church community all against us, so we're very tight. And so when they're competing in their big competition, I can't remember what they call it now. We would go down to support them. And Dave and I would sit there and we'd say, boy, yes, the crowds are bigger and so on, but when you come on to production, you can't. Barbados got it, because Trinidad stuff would start a little late sometimes, and just the way how things flow. Dave,
Mhm.
I'm serious. We were sitting there and said, no, we wouldn't do it that way. Barbados, our productions, to me, they would be on point. And
Yeah.
so it is disappointing to see that we are regressing in terms of the excellence, the production values. That
Mhm.
that we are regressing. As Tia Michelle says, we have the technology to pull off these things the right way. We do, and we also have the personnel. We have the human resource to pull it off well. So what about the bands?
But
Um,
people need to listen.
mm,
People need to listen more, and they need to go out there into the field and hear what is going on. I look, if these persons used to be more involved, look, I've seen, you know, people say about who's the better minister and stuff like that. If John King was given the opportunity and the chance to perform,
Dwayne, I agree. If I could come over and shake your hand, thank you for saying this. And this is why, people, they say that I am pushing DLP. I'm not pushing no DLP, because I'm telling you, I've said it on here before. John King, yes, Stephen Lashley was excellent in one way. John King was bringing something also that was also excellent, was different. It was different, but he was just as good and had the potential to be just as good. But I'm in agreement with you 110% on that about John King. But let me let you, because when I
I
see,
could remember, I can remember when, I was really consulting when John King was the minister. And I said to him, Minister, with the pickety crop competition. I said, Minister, we need to put on a better show and allow the artists to come with the A game and stuff like that.
mm,
And I said, Minister, what we should do one of two things. We should either give the artists a production allowance or something, or we should, if the prize monies is $5,000, we should let them get a performance fee, which, because when you book artists, you normally pay a deposit to secure the date,
mhm.
right? So let me give them something as a deposit or whatever. They can take it, or they can choose to take it if they want or whatever. And because the minister was involved in the art form for a number of years, he
Yes.
understands and he knows the pressure, right? Our minister said no, and let's do so and so and so and so. At that time, Cranston Brown was still the CEO. He spoke to Cranston Brown, and we got it done, right? Um, the minister understood a lot of different things, even with the party monarch, even with the junior. They had a junior soccer monarch competition that was done by Crystal Cummins Beckles and them,
Yes, it's true. Yes.
right? That the NCF don't have to do everything. They can facilitate. But I know in Trinidad, the soccer monarch competition, right? The government put up the money, used to put up the money for William Monroe on them, because the artists used to get the prize monies from the government. The check used to write in the name from the government, right? So the
Ah,
government can, you know, can put out these things to private people, to help develop them and stuff that the NCF don't have to be involved wholly and solely. And Minister King was always saying that, right? And then we had a wonderful thing last year where Adrian wanted to do the soccer monarch, and instead of saying to kill Adrian, right? When they could have said to Adrian, look, Adrian, do it, we can put up the prize monies, right? I also given them a document to how we can develop the soccer monarch, how we can get more persons to participate, get get better music, because we also rewarding the producers and stuff like that. You know, we're giving the artists an opportunity to, you know, enter with more than one song, you know, to have a audition process, you know, where they come in, they sing the song to the first verse and the chorus to track, so you can see if the artist can perform the different kind of things, right? Because you're judging it on a CD, then you don't get the best songs in the competition, right? And you know, I believe that new, right? International Version, Proverbs 27:17, right? As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another, and the artist, you know, can be effective competing against one another, and you got that kind of thing. And before, when they used to do the numbers, they used to always say that the Party Monarch was one of the events that the foundation used to profit.
Yes.
Even if they profit $20, they used to profit.
Yeah, yeah. So people here are definitely agreeing with you. I think that's a brilliant idea, and it's pretty sad to know that
I have it in document. I have it in a document, but it's because it comes from Dwayne Grazette, right? I have it in a document I submitted, right? I submitted the document. I didn't even get an acknowledgement from the minister. The only body that acknowledged it was the PS, brilliant PS in the ministry, right? She responded, but obviously it has to go to the prime minister and it has to go to the minister. But I believe that if Carolyn like it ain't gonna go nowhere.
Yeah. So Dwayne, we have 10 minutes, and you've started to go into the other section of what I want to talk about. It's recommendations and suggestions, and you're saying that you have made some of these some recommendations even for this particular 50th. Is that what you're saying? And they were not.
Yes.
Yes.
And they were not even acknowledged. And I don't like Marcia, right? I could submit, I could send, I could show the whole of Barbados when I sent it, right? This was also like I made recommendation on how to export the artist's music out of Barbados, get back to us for the artist, right? You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Right? And they don't pay any mind, right? And these things are things that, and I go there and I discuss this with the artists, you know. Yes. I talk to them, I just be there with them, and I hear what they be saying. So I obviously know what they want and what they can help them, right? And I've seen it work. How you think that a lot of Trinidadian artists became popular in Barbados right after Trinidad Carnival? Martino used to do a show called Calypso Spectacular that introduced a lot of the artists to Barbados. Why can't Barbados do something similar? Right? And it should be after crop over, when the music hot and thing. I noticed too that they treat their monarchs in the worst, disgusting way, right? I ain't hear nor see the little youngster that won the road march. I saw him down at in the launch, the crop over thing, which was in town, right? But you're not giving these people opportunities. You're not making these people feel good that when they win something. You know, how regular have we seen the Calypso King last year? right? You know, all of these things are things that we need to look at very carefully, right? You know, when they start the 50th anniversary, like I said to someone, look, when I watched the production, it was, you know, you still have some of these people living, right? You have people up there singing the songs. You should be trying to get and encourage these people to come and sing, even like like Brandon just come up there and singing a walker. So you should be able to get these artists to come up and do the songs. They have far too they had a little bit of them coming to sing their songs, and it should have been a journey. The show should have been a journey. It should have been a journey. The songs, the things were mixed up all in one, because you need to
Right. I
educate the
understand
young
what you're
people.
saying.
You need to educate the young people. You should have start from, you know, you had the songs that did not place or did not make it, and that should have made it a good idea. But the execution was poor, because you should have gotten the journey and got the MC narrating.
Yes.
You know, in
Connecting the dots and put on.
1990,
I see. I understand. Yeah.
yes, that should have been something that is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I asked about 2 years ago about the Burmester Harding, right? It should have been a special occasion because it's the 50th anniversary, right? We should have been able to narrate something with the Burmester Harding, so we could educate the young people where we came from and how we get here. Our culture is not about facts and partying and all that. Culture is about from what we eat, we drink, you know, we wear, our culture, where we came from as a people. And smack within the middle of the Emancipation Festival. You know, MP Prescott was doing a project up there, brilliant project, right? Up in Haggett Hall. How many people know about that? Right? As I said to MP Prescott, I said, you know what? They should turn this village into a 24-hour or for the weekend, you know, where people, when they leave in Fest, going to Fest, that they can stop by here, like how they had Tim's on the highway. But then they get the education of emancipation hitting them full in the chest. Right? And these things are things that, because we need to educate, because we don't educate our young people, in the next couple of years we may not have the Crop Over Festival, because nobody understands the importance of it.
Yes.
They just see that it's just a jump up, you know. We need to sit down and we need to study this thing very carefully, and we need to make it make sense.
Yes. I love what you're saying though, because somebody here was saying that you know, is the nakedness, like what we're pushing, it is so much more than that. You know, it is we're missing a lot of the culture is missing, and the 50th, from what I'm understanding from you, would have been a great opportunity to really educate the masses about what this is all about. And we didn't, and that's why you said that it was, for you, it was a big disaster. And but the CEO said it was a success.
Marcia, I also wanted to make a point, right, where like we there's nothing wrong with, and we should give some incentives to the business community to get them involved in crop over, similar to how they are involved in Christmas. We should have the different government departments got the little, and I see some companies were trying to do it. I see Republic Bank, you know, I am on some managers and stuff like that on their phone, and I see that they had the staff in there. You know, I watched the snaps of the staff in that Republic Bank doing little things. They should be getting other companies involved in the festival, getting the employees to come and do a little calypso competition. You know, you do different little things to get them hyped up about the festival, get them involved in the festival. You know, you should be getting things like and involved in the hotel. There's nothing wrong with you working with the BHTA and putting out packages and putting out things in the hotels, getting packages put together so that the guests can go and see the calypso tents, right? These are things that can be done and that should be done. You know, I was even thinking about the hotels on the South Coast and stuff like that on the West Coast, joining together and doing a jump for the 4-day morning with the guests. One hotel I know, I got friends work at Sanders that told me that Sanders has got a 4-day morning jumper around the hotel with a little small truck, and you know, and a lot of their guests they sign on to it and they pay 150 US or something, and they just jump around the hotel. You know how good that would be that they're jumping from up by Coiman, and Coiman was a sponsor of the 4-day morning, that they could have jumped from Coiman down the highway and on to Dover playing field, and you got all the hotels up there join on to that.
Oh wow, that's a great idea. Now you're really taking the festival to the people, and it is meaning something to them, because in Trinidad, you know, it's really part of the people. For us here, it's like we're putting on events, you know, but in Trinidad, it is so much part of the people. Now, listen, I am tempted, you know, if you will stay with me. Folks, we were supposed to have you calling in, and so I'm going to do that for Friday, because I think we need to continue with this. I see how the chat is going. Um, yes, yes. This person said that he's given a belly full of information in 5 minutes. You know, I mean, just a lot of things he's spitting out, and I think this is a very positive show right now.
Marcia, I want cry, right? Because what I got to offer this country and to offer this festival, right? I just take up my own personal money, right? And I just put into artists in this country, right? Last year, I can remember the minister telling me when I sponsored about 5 or 6 of them at the pick of the crop, and it's not only sponsorship with money, it's sponsorship with ideas, getting resources, getting things for them, right? And when they call my name, she look at me and tell me, "Oh, they should be calling your name as a sponsor." And my words to her, if I did do something wrong and bad, and they call my name, right? Nobody didn't say nothing, but I doing something good, right? And you know, it hurts to see that you can offer. And it's not about money. It's not about money. It's about seeing the industry develop. It is seeing our product, our crop over product for tourism, right? Develop and develop that our festival is a major festival that, and what it does is that it has promoters then coming down here, right? And scouting for the music and taking artists outside. All those things come out of it when you have everybody's eyes on Barbados. And that is what it's supposed to be all about. You know, I even suggested to the Prime Minister back, even for the independence, right? Why don't we, everybody love cruising. Why don't we tap into the cruise market and do a cruise from Miami or somewhere where that cruise is, it has all of our the drink is Marby. You know, instead of they giving the lemonade on the cruise, they're giving Marby, they're doing macaroni pie, they're doing fish cakes, you know, they're doing these things that, and they have Bajan entertainers on the boat performing. Right? These things can be things that can bring people to Barbados as well.
Yeah.
Because don't get tired. Our tourism product is not that great. And I'm not criticizing for criticizing, say I'm criticizing so we can look and get these things better. You know, when I took up the court, and thanks to Dwight Sutherland, right? Thanks to Dwight Sutherland, right? Dwight Sutherland knows that I know what he's doing, right? And when he brought me to take over the Baje to the world, right? I did it in a way that the public would be interested, and that we can get into artists, because no artists outside of Barbados, we don't got no more Rihanna, right? And the artists in Barbados tours offer soca music, right? And you know, if you look at 90% of the contestants out of Baje to the world were involved in crop over. Half of them they like calypso music or soca music. The current junior monarch, he was in Baje to the world. When he came in Baje to the world, he was singing ballads. He couldn't, you know, then he got the opportunity to sing things. Then there was like, you know, we think he can handle the Edwin and all. Now the boy in his second year in junior monarch won the junior monarch competition. It is about development. It's about development. It's about development of our young people, and it's about development of our artists.
Yeah.
Right? I find that the artists are only used as utility. They use as utility for political purposes when they want them to jump up on a stage and endorse them. But when it is done, they cares nothing about their livelihoods. I'm advocating for the longest while that the entertainment industry, right, is treated like any other industry, and that these men can go to the bank and get a house and get a mortgage. I know numerous of them that want that would like a mortgage, but you know what? The banks ain't taking them on, right? Because you know what? They're not educated. You know, the credit unions will help, but they're not educated to know like they're gonna put the money on the bank and show a good cash flow. You know, and that is why when I did Baje to the World, I incorporated all of those things, financial literacy. COB came in and talked to them about these things, talk to them about, and we bringing the NIS and the BRA to talk to them about all of these important things.
Okay.
And it's about educating them. It's not about handouts. It's not about handouts. It's about educating these people and making this industry a viable industry, regulating it as well. Because I don't feel that artists should be undercutting and everybody. And it's hurt me when I look at the paper and I see a man get locked up for thieving. And only he think he's an entertainer.
My God.
You never see sing the way yet.
When you hold there, David Piggott, who I respect highly, you know, he won the Calypso crown 3 years in a row. There's nobody else who's won that. And I know, I big him up all the time, because people somehow they don't want to give Kid Sight his flowers, and I want to give him his flowers, you know. And he's saying, I respect him a lot, and he says here tonight, hi Kid Sights, you're watching. He says Dwayne's ideas and innovations to the party monarch, they are valid. And a lot of what you're saying tonight, the people are connecting with it. And that's why I'm going to let you finish the show once you give me the time. We're going to go all the way to finish at 10 with you. Because I think what you are saying is, believe it or not, your time went. But I just felt that we need to stick with this, and we will let the people call in later. But Dwayne, it's so many things. I don't know. We're gonna have to go over the show and probably capture some of these ideas. I'm gonna ask one of our people to go through the show and capture the ideas, because you are spitting out. I don't know if you realize you are spitting out so many things, so many ideas. This is so positive, Dwayne. Tonight, very, very, very.
But Kid Sight knows me very well. Kid Sight can tell you I was 15, 16 years old and raising sponsorship for Kid Sight. We went Trinidad and record music with Kid Sight and everything. Kid Sight, I work on Kid Sight's presentations at 15 or 16 years old. And Kid Sight can can confirm this. So I ain't know come down in this thing. I'd around the tents for years, right? And this minister, you know, I had to laugh, right? When she first took over, I said to her, Minister, you want me to go to the tents with you, to introduce you to the players, you know, hear the things and all kind of stuff, right? And the woman looked at me and asked me if I invited myself and share, I want you to get into the tents free. Well, anybody in Barbados know I could go in any tent. And if I gotta pay, I can pay the support.
You were trying to do things a proper way to say, let me take you to the tents and introduce you because she's new and she's thinking that you are trying to get in for free.
She told me that. I made sure when she sent I could send the message to you. I could show the whole of Barbados the message she sent me, right? And then I said, you know what, let me jump to conclusions, right? And I waited. I went to the St. George Speaks, and I said to her, Minister, could you clarify in this message what you sent me, right? Because I think, and the minister said, oh, I just thought that you wanted to get into the thanks free. And I said to her, but Minister, I don't need to get into the thanks free. Then she looked at me and said to me, I know about the culture because my father was Holly. Your father was Holly, had one song. Nobody ever hear about his sense. The young people don't even know who's Holly.
So, but all right.
And that gives you the justification that you know about culture. Give me a break.
So Dwayne, I mean, all of these things are happening, and I mean, it's pointing to me. I run an organization, and if every time I put on these things, you know, I mean, somebody the buck has to stop somewhere. And it's been an ongoing issue where we're seeing there's no development. The development aspect that you're talking about, I can hear your heart bleeding about it. We're not seeing it happening at the NCF. You know, there are just so many things that are happening. The buck has to stop somewhere. I want to ask you, what do you think? Somebody said that they called into the program to ask, you know, to say that they need to begin to start to clean up the NCF going from the top, and they were cut off. You know, what are your thoughts about that?
Marcia, I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to be very blunt. And I know that Labour Party people will be vexed with me.
Now. Yes, you be careful.
All kind of thing, right? By talking the truth, right? It will never get any better because, and I see people all over Barbados asking for the NCF CEO to be fired. That will never happen. It will never happen under this Prime Minister. So they're wasting the time, right? And I don't know what will happen, but we just gotta hope and pray that before it gets too late, that they smell the coffee and they try to do what the NCF is supposed to do. And that's develop the art form, develop the industry. And not only about Calypsonians, it's not only about musicians, it's about the artists, it's about the culinary artists, it's about the poets, it's about all of these the visual artists, right? That is what it's about, right? It's not only about and I find, okay, even the DJs, right? We need to find something. Everybody, the Calypsonians or the artists that win things and it's got competitions. Why can't we have competitions for the DJs as well? The DJs that playing good music, that also making properly, you know, we need all of these people make up the festival and make up the industry. Without the DJs, right, the music is not played. And if we got to incorporate them, we got to do things to them too as well.
Yes.
And we are doing a show, Marcia, we cannot only study what pleases us, but it has to be what pleases the consuming public, the people who are paying their hard-earned money to come to your show or to come to your event. Those are the persons who has to matter most of all. And that is just my point. That is just my opinion.
So what you are your what I didn't understand fully so far is that at the moment you are working. Are you still working with the NCF, or what is your role at this?
Marcia, I have a contract for the Prime Minister's office. It's called Artist Development Consultant and Event Specialist, right? I don't consult nothing. I send stuff. And this is very shameful and sad, right? And I really don't even want to touch on it because it's going to open a different can of worms.
Don't touch on it. Don't. I just wondered why it is that your suggestions and recommendations are not being you know are not being.
They say behave too bad.
Mm.
But I never teach nine for nobody. I was never dishonest. I never do nothing. So, I've always tried to be honest and fair in what I do. Even when I'm doing events, even when I'm dealing with artists, I always try to be fair, right? I always try to do what I have to do to make my country look good and to make my people look good. That is what I am about. That is what Dwayne Grazette is about, right? That is why I got a charity, right? That is help children, send them to school, right? Mm-hmm. I don't care if your mother vote for D, B, Q, or S. Once you are poor, right? And not even poor, because sometimes your situation changes, right? And I can help you. I will help you because I believe that we're supposed to be our brother's keeper, right?
What's the name of the charity? What we're gonna do? I was thinking, Dwayne, we want to do a back to school program, and I would love for you to come back on, because from the moment you told me about the charity, I thought this is something that we can assist with. But just give us a little bit about the charity, and then we're gonna go back.
The charity, the Eden Lodge Youth Charitable Trust, we provide assistance, technical assistance for persons. We help pay for college, we help buy school uniforms, but bags. We do what we give vouchers. We help feed people. When I had the fires, we came in. We try to facilitate helping the families, and that is what we do. And I do not run out in a paper. I do not believe in helping people and the whole world gonna know, because that's not what it's all about. It's about helping your brothers and your sisters and making this Barbados a better place. That is what it's all about for me. And anybody can tell you, all of you telling me, oh, you need to go in the paper, you need to this, you need to that. I don't need to do it. The people who I help knows who I help, right? And let me tell you something, they're very grateful for it. Trust me, I can tell you.
Well, I know that I want to, that's something that, because we were discussing it with a teacher today, that we need to do a back to school show, where we are seeking to help others. And I promise you that you will come back on for that show. And we're just dealing with back to school. That's all going to be charity and helping the children as towards the end of August, they go back to school. Is what we're going to do, because I know of the work that you do with young people. That's how I know you, because of the work I do as well with young people. That's how I know of you, and I know that you're a genuine person. That's what I know. About Dwayne Grazette. So I'm really happy tonight that you're able to share your ideas with Barbados. And what we want to do is to go over your segment and just write down the ideas, because I don't know if you realize how much is flowing out of you.
I can show you how the people just connect with me and think. Even one of the people that just do the sound music trucks and all that was even asking for a prize for the best music truck. You know, then
Ah.
those things are things that help because
You
then
mean,
men
oh,
will
you
say,
mean like the crop over, like our
yes,
one guy. Ah, that's a great one.
right? Because then it look when you have these little competitions and all that, it brings out the best in people.
It's true.
It brings out the best in people because then people want to get the thing to come up with creative ideas, you know, like the Kaduma there, right? You know, there's nothing. I've heard one of the bands said they have had a live band on the road, right?
We have
And
a live
I
band every year. We should get a prize.
I was so happy because we need to also bring back the bands. We got musicians. We got enough young musicians. Why are we doing a music program at BCC, right? And then when the youngsters finish, they can't play in a way. They can't be a part of a band. You know, then when they got a band, you know, the body and creating opportunities for them, right? We need to get back the bands. We need to get back bands. One time we used to have 6 and 7 bands playing, right? That is done with, and the artist performs better with a band than with tracks.
It's
You could
true.
pull up the band, you could do certain things, you know. All of these things, and these are also ideas I would have think, because we need to have to develop the industry some more. We need, you know, all of these, and we're talking about opportunities, and we're talking about the industry, and we're talking about the economy. All of these things can help drive the economy, right? You know, gone are the days when they used to have 40 people was in the shipping, and then they had
Yes.
this body in the after dark, and you know, I'd be in St. Lawrence Gap, and when 3 o'clock, everything got shut down. The tourist troops in. They ain't got nowhere to go. We ain't got no life entertainment. And then they got going to
Mm.
hotels. And then when they go in the hotels, they got, you know, perform for next thing to nothing. And, you know, we need to look at ways that are creative ways that we can bring back these things and we can have these things, not a one-off event where we have after 20 years, we got Coalition come back last night to perform, right? We need to create opportunities, right? And this gives the young people things to do, right? They also give people things to look forward to, and it helps build because look, and I started to say this at the beginning of the program, right? The creative industry is a $1 billion industry, right? And in Barbados, you know, I laughed when I heard Mr. Abed said the merchants ain't make no money in town for the World Cup, but they make money from crop over. They made money from crop over, right? Why cannot we borrow money and do a stadium, borrow money and do a multi-purpose venue, which can have events in the rain, in the sun, right? You know, I went to St. Martin and I called, I think it was Bazidi there, and I said, I see this village down here would like to, you know, do something like this in Barbados, right? Where is a village and people can then go and rent the village for $15,000-$20,000, right? It can make back the money because it got on the sound system already, lighting, this thing. They got whole set of spaces and stalls and stuff like that. And then it opens, you know, on the weekend where people, you know, and on a nights where people can then come and sit down, have a drink and, you know, talk and stuff like that. Why can't we do that? Right? Because as I said already, the industry is $1 billion industry, right? It is $1 billion industry. And you know, when you got show in Barbados, entertainment does generate a lot of money in the economy. When you got show, the taxi man does get a piece of money. The hairdresser, the girl that do the makeup, the girl that do the nails, the hair stores, right? the drink companies, everybody just make a little something. So we need to create more events. I hear the Prime Minister said, right? The Prime Minister said, oh, she's going to have a 52-week entertainment program. Where is it? Every country got a music festival, St. Kitts. And what would be sad is that, like, the Prime Minister introduced me to a gentleman from St. Kitts who ended up being the Minister of Culture in St. Kitts, right? And we have, and I've helped him with helping his industry down there when he was the minister, right? Then we had, and there's a memorandum of understanding sitting in the ministry. John King got thing, and nothing ever happened with it. Is that what their carnival is in December, right? And what I organized with the young lady who was the chairman of the carnival committee down there.
Yes.
That Barbados government and them would have joined together, right? And do collabs with the artists. When they went down there, it was like their music and stuff like that was not exporting. When I talked to somebody, many men paid $200 and $300 in the studio, right? Right? And stuff like that, right? I put together a thing, right? I had Webster and them Gabby. I took Gabby down there. And when Carol came into office, she abandoned the project. The juniors used to go down there. What's her name again? Donella went down there and performed at the Queen's competition.
Yes.
Right? Gabby get work writing for some of the Calypsonians down there. This was an opportunity to create revenue for the Bajan producers, the songwriters, and stuff like that. And the document is still sitting at the ministry, right? To be signed. I could prove all of these things. I could prove all of these things. I could print the documents and put them up. I could prove it. And just talking this thing.
Dwayne, I've been saying on this show that all that we need, we have it in Barbados. Barbadians, do you see what I mean tonight? We are enough. We don't need to be bringing in all of these consultants from here and all these people. It's right here. This is a Garrison's old boy, a Garrison old scholar. Call you old.
The principal at the Garrison school, I was a little embarrassed. At the time, the principal, and you could tell, Trevor Prescott could tell you, the principal at the Garrison school at the time, Myrna Belgrave, told Trevor Prescott, this boy, when he was 12 and 13 years old, was organizing things at school.
Yes.
And we could have counted on him to produce things at the school.
Yes.
Right? Under supervision or without supervision of teachers.
Well, somebody it's a Garrison, somebody was in your class and they're so proud of you. And somebody from the US, somebody overseas, I'm not sure she's overseas, but she says, that she said, after listening to Mr. Grazette, I felt like crying for my country. My mom was involved in Capover from the days of the Donkey Cart Parade and the Garrison. And she's just saying that and that's how it feels. This is why I said that as much as I had a range and people, I know you're prepared, your 3 minutes to come on. We're not going to do it tonight. I felt we should allow this young man to just share his heart. And because we are enough, Barbados, we can do it. Don't you ever think that we have to get somebody from outside to do it. We are enough in here. There is enough ideas, and ideas are all the way on this chat as well, Dwayne.
We have brilliant people come from the Garrison School, and other schools is not only the ones from Queen's College, nor from Combermere and Lodge School, right? We have a lot of talented people in Barbados that can make contributions. And it's because you're from a certain status code, or your father is this body, or your mother is the next body, right? We have people who income from nothing in this country that can make contributions.
Yeah.
And then, you know what also pees me is that some of the ones who get away or who get in the fair, who come from poor backgrounds, then it's kicked down the ladder for others, right? And there is a lot of them, right? And the time is going to come where I'm going to expose some of them. We have some of them sitting in these ministries, some of them sitting as potential MPs who want to run and all kind of thing, who are guilty of doing this to people in this country. And it has to stop. And I actually thought that this Prime Minister, when she told me these things before, that she was one to make the change, but it got worse. It got worse.
Guys, I want to say something. I feel the pain of these young men. This young man, I saw them do it to Kidsite. I saw them do it to Kidsite, Dwayne, because of who they think he is. And they did not give Kidsite the honor. They dishonored Kidsite in my mind, right? Because he wasn't of a certain ilk. And it's what they're doing to you, and what they're doing to lots of other people in this country. And I'm telling you, we are enough. We can turn, or we have listen, man, Dwayne, we have so much talent. When I travel, I tell you, and I see events, I match them up to Barbados. Let me tell you, when you used to go to Juna Monarch, and you see how Juna Monarch run smoothly. Come on, man. And when you visit some of these other places, even the country I'm from, Jamaica, and you see them put on things, and I said, man, Barbados, but one thing Barbados have over a lot of these countries is production value, right? The smoothness in which things run. And, you know, you heard Dwayne talking about telling that story from start to finish. That's what we do at NIFCA. We understand how to do that. How can they? This is a big 50th, and you're gonna just throw it down like, you know, you cook a plate of food, you didn't organize it, you just throw it down on the thing and then come talking about its success. Dwayne, I'm so grateful for you coming on tonight. Believe it or not, it's a minute past 10, you know. But man, I feel it. Go ahead for another 5 minutes, Dwayne. And what else do you want to say, my Lord?
No, I'm just passionate about, and it's not about me. It's not about me, Marcia. It's about the industry. It's about what the industry can do for a lot of people.
Can I cut you there? Can you use the last couple of minutes and answer? So what are we immediately? What do you recommend? I know you said nobody will be fired. What can the people do to see change? What can the people on this show? We say we are the opposition, the people. That's what we say on this show. What can you tell us to do as the opposition? Meaning that, you know, we're not a political party. We're not advocating that. We're saying people like you're part of the opposition. You're speaking up on behalf of the people.
You need to let the people. I'm going to ask the CEO of the NCF a question. Right? She could don't answer me like she don't answer emails and stuff like that when you send them and things. But why is it that everybody is departing the NCF? It's like an exodus, right? It's like an exodus.
What do you mean? You're saying everybody's departing? What do you mean?
A number of people is departing. I don't want to call nobody names. I don't want to get anybody in a confusion.
Okay, all right.
Anything of that nature.
Yeah.
Right, but people could look at the list of who was there last week and call and answer if they're there this week and see if they're there, right? But my thing is that because let the people that are in charge and the Prime Minister back down, right? Needs to let the people in this country that you give jobs to and that got creative ideas and talents and stuff like that do their jobs. Let people contribute, honestly, because we don't have all the answers, but we have people around us, right, who can help. And if you take everybody, if you take an idea from this body and you mesh it with the next body, and you could come out with a wonderful product, right? You know, you could come up with a wonderful product. I find that this government also has good ideas too, but
Yes,
it's the execution.
They do. Yes.
And the wrong people executing.
Yes, I agree with you, Dwayne. It's some good ideas. I was saying that to somebody today, but it is they don't have the skills to.
And
The wrong people are there. The wrong.
And then you have to, and this is my other fundamental problem. When you have to tell them where they're going wrong or whatever, they're vexed with you, use the arch enemy. But you're not telling them that they're wrong because you don't like them. You're telling them that they're wrong because you want to see it better. It's like a mother with a child. A woman can only tell she child what thing, and she ain't concerned with the other people's children. Right? So at the end of the day, right, it's about your love for your country, even your love for your party. Right? I am not gonna sit down here and fool anybody. Right? We need to have honesty, right? And we need to let people we need to find the best talent, right? And not about who this body is my friend or this thing, and then they can't get the thing done.
Well, yeah.
And then they want you something to do and tell you and they want to force who's supposed to be your team upon you. When you have a team that can help you deliver that, share the same goal and the same dream as you. And that is why, things happen. It's like you get a man a ministry. Do you want to tell you who's supposed to be the chairman? Right? He and the chairman don't get along, so it's bacchanal.
Right.
He and the general manager don't get along, it's bacchanal. They cannot get nothing done. So all the brilliant ideas and all the things that you want to do going end up to zero because everybody fighting.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I would love to see come out of this, and I would like, I would love to be part of it. I would love to see us doing, if we could set up like a think tank, we just come together and just begin to some of these ideas that you have to and hear from others and to begin to kind of put it together because at the end of the day, this is our country.
So Marcia, I know from tomorrow they can try to discredit me.
Yes.
Right? But I don't care because you know what? People will know the truth.
Yes.
Right? I've seen it happen to other people. I was a part of the camp and I see what they do to other people. I did not like it. Right? And that's one of the reasons why they got me where they got me, because I don't like certain things that just happen to people and they can't get me to do certain things. So we don't want Dwayne Grazette because they can't come and tell Dwayne Grazette to unfair this body, unfair that body, do this and do that.
I know you. I know the kind of person that you are. As I said, I've seen how you work. You don't know, you think, but I watch you and I've seen how you work with people, Dwayne. I know. I remember I was in all of those competitions and I would watch you from afar. We dealt with on some other things, and I watch how you are about the people, and that's why you are you're at loggerheads and you're meeting up with people because of what you stand for. But let me just say that I want to say to you that if you want to, this is something I think that there are enough creatives that we could come together and we can begin to brainstorm and to put something in place and to begin to figure out how are we, and then to say how do we share this with them. I know
Mhm.
you've been doing, but let us do it publicly
Now
now.
that I get my heart fixed, um, the valve on my heart fixed, I feel like a new person, so I can help and do anything,
Okay.
right? And that is about it. I got some good health now, um, so I can help in any way that I can, like I always do. I always try to help because that's who I am,
Yes.
right? I know they probably wanted me to die, but God didn't want me to die, right?
No, they
Because
can't
God
kill you.
knows
I
that.
know that these people work with other powers, but let me tell you something. They can't kill you because your time is not up yet. You still have
And
some.
I know why. I know because everybody said, "Oh, I the prime minister friend and all kind of time." I went to have the surgery. She ever call and check to see if I living or dead,
Well, we don't. Oh boy, sorry to
right?
hear that, but
So, so I just know that they wanted me to die, but God wanted me to be here to help the people, and I will
victory.
be the advocate for people, and I will help people. You know,
Yes, but Dwayne, I tell you, we are going to have you back because this was a positive show, and you and I talked about this show, and look how positive it was. And you're going to come back on, and we are listen, man, we above all of that. When we come on, we are going to be talking about the getting the kids back to school, right? That's
yes,
what we're going to deal with. We're going to put the whole 3 hours, and you and I are going to plan it. We're going to do a whole marathon on here and raise the money and get the school bags and the school shoes and everything. Man, we're going to do this together. I'm going to talk to the other panelists and we come up with ideas on how we're going to do it on this show and get the stuff
mhm,
to the people. Yeah. So
okay,
when with that I want to it's 10:10 and we gone 10 minutes over. We could keep the people said they could listen to you for more. But
uh,
listen, everybody's so grateful.
I would like to thank you for having me on the show. I think that we had enough for
Yes.
tonight, and I would like to thank everyone for listening. And as you said, when we are ready to do the stuff to help the children, I'm very willing to come and help.
Yes, yes, yes. I am. I'm excited, and people are asking you to come back. They will also want you to come back with some of the artists, as we talk about the development, the true
Mhm.
development of our artists of our industry, and truly develop the industry. I'm all for that. I'm all for
Mhm.
that, as you know. So this has been quite good. Thank you to everybody. Those of you who prepared your 3 minutes presentation. I am so so sorry about that, but you see, we had to let the brother share his heart tonight. And on Friday, God willing, we are going to be back again. And you'll be able to do that, right? Please forgive me, but I thought that we needed our brother to share his heart tonight. God bless you, Dwayne, and have a
Okay.
good day. God bless.
Okay. Thanks.
Bye bye. Good evening. Bye bye. Ah, that was refreshing. That was really refreshing. Very positive show. Very positive show. And everybody's telling Dwayne, thank you. And I want to say, he's not here. I want to say that you stand around him. I know it's going to be tough for him. I'm going to pray for him tonight because I know that he's stepped out, right? I know that he stepped out and did something, and so I know how that works. So all the machinery is going to come against him to discredit him and to bring him down, to try to hurt him in some way or the other. So I'm going to ask everybody who's on, say a prayer for Dwayne tonight. Please, people were very concerned about him coming on. But I'm asking you, before you go to bed tonight, say a prayer for Dwayne. And when they start to attack him on social media, gather around him because they're going to do it. It's going to start. They're going to start it tomorrow. Okay? Stand with Dwayne, please, and help him. So that, because when we get out and we speak out, that's when they come and they bring up everything and start to try to destroy the person who is speaking. All right. So let us try to surround him with goodness and with great thoughts and love. All right. God bless you all. You know, we have to play at least one song has to be played tonight, and I'm going to play the one song tonight, and we're going to play. I think we need to play "Pretending." What do you all think? Because this tonight is all pretending that is happening. So I didn't have Dave with me tonight, so I kind of one-handed, but I'm trying my best. Yeah.
I'm pretending to be good at maths nor English. I just pretending to care about people. Good at maths nor English. English. Pretending to be good. I pretending to be good. Just pretending to be good. I pretending to be good. I just pretending to care about people. 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 Pretending. And I'm pretending to be good at maths nor English. I just pretending to care about people. And I'm pretending to be good at maths nor English. I just pretending to care about people. I'm pretending to be good. And I'm pretending to be good at maths nor English. I just pretending to care about people. And I'm pretending to be good at maths nor English. I just pretending to care about people.